right now. I hope not.
Dignity.
All right.
Dingity.
Dingity.
My dingity is all up to par. I don't know about you.
Oh dear God.
Oh, dear God, here we go.
It's all right. At least we're letting people know what they're in for from the get-go.
Yep, we're not bullshit.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. This is a live show. We talk about technology, and we stream live every Tuesday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time to our YouTube channels, and we stream to Twitch. So twitch.tv/awesomehardware. If you want to watch the whole show, it's in its entirety from beginning to end with all of the outtakes and everything like that. Or if you just want to watch the respectable parts, we streamed the first half of today's show, which is episode 144. To Cal's channel, Bitwit, and that's linked in the video's description. You can click on that if you didn't watch it, and that will at least explain to you how we got to where we are. Where we are is we've had a few beers, and we've discussed like the NVIDIA GeForce Partner Program and a few other things like that. It was on Kyle's half of the show. I wasn't paying that much attention. What we're going to talk about in my half of the I'm just kidding.
Rude.
I'm just kidding. I was paying very close attention.
Very rude.
It's very important, everything that Kyle said. On my half of the show, we're going to talk about the new HTC Vive Pro and other things too. But a quick word of warning, occasionally we do use adult language on the show, so if you've got youngins or folks who might be particular about hearing bad language from time to time, damn their ears.
Run, children, run!
Yeah.
Before we get you.
And what Kyle said. And in the meantime, if you are of age and are drinking responsibly, then of course feel free to join us in having a drink as we continue Awesome Hardware, episode
Cheers.
144. And yes, Strike Flame, I've noticed you. Noticed you in chat.
I see you.
Okay. Before we get into the show proper, if you want to help support us, check out our stores. My store is paulshardware.net, and you can order lots of high-quality gear and merchandise. It's got my logo on it, or it's got Awesome Hardware logos on it. Awesome Hardware stuff, if you buy, profits are split between me and Kyle. Other than that, I get all the money. The beer set, for example, is very popular. You get a bottle opener as well as a super nice Imperial pint glass, which holds
Sexy.
much more fluid than your typical domestic pint glass.
All
It's
the
super
fluids.
awesome. You can also buy stuff from Kyle's store, bitwit.tech/store.
Yes.
It all comes from the same place, and we've made sure that all this stuff is real nice,
Yep.
real high quality.
The desk mats have been selling very well.
Oh yeah.
As well as all awesome hardware. I got one of the sample shirts for the Star Wars kind of base design. It looks really nice.
It's solid.
It's super
solid.
nice.
That's a design by Brian,
Yes.
aka Marek Soot, who participated. He actually had sent us some other stuff otherwise, but he also participated in our design submission thing from last year.
Yes. So thanks to you guys. If you guys happen to buy anything from either of our stores, we'll yell Johnson at you at the end of the show.
Indeed, we will.
Very sensual.
All right, let's continue my half of the show with further news. And as I've already teased, the HTC Vive Pro is finally available for pre-order.
Sweet.
In fact, you can pre-order it right now for the low price of $500, which seems like a pretty reasonable deal until you realize that price is only for the headset. I'm sorry. $800. Did I say $500?
I think you said $5 initially.
Sorry.
Yeah.
$800.
$800.
Is for the headset.
Which is how much it was, the original Vive was for everything.
For everything. Now, at the same time, they have reduced the price of the current Vive system to $500. But the new headset needs the old headset's stuff in order to function. So the new headset works with existing Vive lighthouses and controllers. But that does mean that since there is no standalone version of the Vive Pro headset with Vive light boxes and everything, that you do need to buy both of them right now if you're starting from scratch. If you've already got the Vive...
So this is more of an upgrade.
Yes, if you've already got the Vive, you can upgrade to the Vive Pro headset for $800, you're fine.
Right.
If you don't have any of the Vive stuff, then you gotta buy both, pretty much, in order to get it working.
Which I don't think many people are.
$1,300, which used to seem like a lot of money before GPU prices were what they are now. Now that's totally reasonable, right?
Interesting. So there's only been iterations done to the headset itself. The controllers are still the same.
Controllers are still the same.
There are no 2.0 version.
Light boxes are still the same.
Okay.
Um,
So what's new about the headset?
The new stuff with the headset, and this is we've talked about this a little bit before, but
Right. As a refresher.
So the two OLED displays in one for each eye are higher resolution, 1400 by 1600, as compared to 1080 by 1200 on the current Vive. So that's a decent boost in resolution, and especially when you consider how close those OLED displays are to your eye, it actually sort of you get a little bit more bang for the buck when it comes to the enhanced resolution and additional pixels in that case.
Means you'll also need a stronger PC to run it.
That's true. There are ergonomic changes with the headset as well. It has built-in headphones now, which is one of the things that was pretty popular with the Oculus Rift.
Right.
The Vive had a headset jack on it,
Right.
which allowed you to use your own headset, which could have been nice depending on your situation and if you had a really nice headset to just plug in.
Yeah.
But
Cumbersome.
with the Rift, and maybe this was more of a like at least my interaction with the Rift in a lot of situations was in a like a show floor environment where you had lots of people jumping in and out to try out a demo or something like that.
Right.
In that case, the Rift made a lot of sense because you just pop it on and you've got the headphones that are right there.
Right.
Whereas with the Vive, it's just a little bit more cumbersome to also add the headset on as well.
That was a smart
new one
change.
includes the headphones as part of it,
That's
which
definitely smart.
seems to be a desired upgrade.
Yeah.
Also, the head strap tightens with a dial now instead of Velcro, and that's actually pretty cool because the Velcro straps on the original Vive were pretty crappy and cumbersome. I mean, they were necessary in order to allow it to fit a wide variety of different sizes of domes, but getting it strapped in properly was definitely not the easiest thing.
Right.
And also the potential for getting your hair caught in the Velcro, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Vive is still being aimed at high-end VR, as still being geared as a high-end VR solution. So prices are still on the higher end. You still need a high-end gaming PC in order to pair it with.
Yeah.
They're at least with the announcements they've made just recently, it doesn't seem like they are going the same route as like Oculus, because Oculus right now has a $199 or $200 Oculus Go mobile headset that they're launching in May.
Right.
HTC still seems content to pinpoint that higher end market, people who have a gaming PC that's capable of pushing the games at the higher resolutions. The tethered experience with the headset, which is cumbersome because it's tethered, but the flip side is high resolution. You don't have to worry about battery life and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely it still has its niche as far as people who are using it and who are interested in the games being developed on it.
Right.
Also, the Vive, apparently with HTC, they often target business uses, and I don't know. There's probably a wide array of different implementations there.
Mm-hmm.
The article doesn't go into that much detail, so I don't have any examples for you. But they seem to be doing enough business to get by. So there you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other thing in the article that I wanted to point out is actually, again, related to Oculus, the competitor, which is that they are also developing a fully tracked standalone device codenamed Santa Cruz. So possible that Oculus is sort of diverging its product stack into the aforementioned Oculus Go Mobile, which is less expensive, $200.
Right. More mainstream.
But probably doesn't have that much capability when it comes to actual graphics processing horsepower, but possibly Oculus is also working on, again, a tracked solution, which is one of the things with the HTC Vive that made it a very superior experience in a lot of the reviewers, from the standpoint of a lot of reviewers who just found that the range of motion you get with the light boxes and everything was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with. So cool. There's new stuff happening this year with the in the VR space, but let's move on.
I was gonna say, like, it's kind of cool to see VR making headway, but it also just goes to show that it's still far way off from becoming mainstream. I feel like.
Well, that was always the big dilemma, barrier to entry with the original VR launches was the VR hardware itself, as far as the headsets and everything, was expensive, and you needed, at minimum, probably a $1,000 gaming PC.
Right.
But more ideally a $1,200 plus dollar gaming PC in order to actually push it.
Right.
So it's a pretty significant investment.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a lot fewer families. Pardon me. There's a lot fewer families who can say, yes, I'm going to drop $2,000 on this gaming configuration for your Christmas present or whatever.
Right.
Versus...
Jesus, the set is moving.
Hero's rearranging his bed and bumping the lights and stuff like that. Versus the experience that you get with like a game console where it's like, oh, here's a single one-time, $300, $400 investment that gets you the whole setup or whatever.
Yeah.
So there we go. I'm sure there's more to come to that in the future. He has at least reclaimed the large bed.
Yes, that's good. We're making progress.
I have two dog beds. There's a smaller bed and there's a larger bed.
Pushing the small bed.
Theoretically, the smaller bed should be for Nori because she's a corgi and she's smaller.
She's tiny.
But of course, she's a corgi and she's like, I'm just going to take the big bed. And she just plops down in it.
Corgis are assholes.
Yeah, Hero has reclaimed the big bed, so he seems...
Good job, Hero.
He seems content
You
for
have
now.
a bed that fits you.
Okay. Slightly less... there's a macabre element to this story, which is Uber has had its first fatal accident. And in fact, the first fatal accident caused by a self-driving car, at least in the United States, as far as I'm aware.
No.
This was in Tempe, Arizona.
No, there was a death with a Tesla not too long ago.
Yeah, but that was a Tesla. That was the operator of the Tesla operating the Tesla in a way that it wasn't intended to be operated.
Oh, right, yeah. He was being...
Whereas this was an Uber self-driving car
that just
working as intended that ran into someone and killed them. In Tempe, Arizona, Sunday evening, a woman was fatally struck after walking in front of an Uber car traveling in self-driving mode.
Wow.
Now, it's important to point out that as a lot of these tests are going on, that they are monitored by a person. And yes, there was a person
behind the wheel.
Uh-huh. The article, I said there was a person behind the wheel. I'm not sure if that was in the driver's seat or in the front seat. The article said front seat. I feel like if you're in the front seat, you might as well be in the driver's seat.
Right.
And in a position to take over if necessary.
Yeah.
But obviously, the situation was such that the person who was in control wasn't able to take over for the AI in time to prevent.
They were probably texting
happening.
or watching a YouTube video. I mean, if
I would hope that if you're hired by Uber to be a ride along in a self-driving car, that you're taking your job seriously and paying attention to the road and taking notes and that kind of thing.
You're an Uber driver.
Because that's your job.
You're an Uber driver.
It's not the same as an Uber driver as in an Uber driver who you hired to take you somewhere.
No, but maybe that was the company's thing. It was like, let's just hire some rando off the street who would be our average Uber driver. Let's just pick out the average Uber driver and see what would happen if the average Uber driver was manning one of these vehicles. Because I mean, how many times have you gotten into an Uber and been like, yeah, this could have been a really way better driver than this dude or this girl.
Yes, I have had sketchy Uber drivers.
Maybe that was part of the experiment, and it unfortunately ended up in someone dying. Like, I don't know.
hope not. I would feel like in these R&D situations where Uber is trying to develop their technology so that they can have self-driving cars and not have to pay for those pesky drivers who they have to pay to drive cars. I would hope that they have someone who's at least at a slightly higher level than just a random who got approved to be an Uber driver.
I hope so. But then that's like, okay, then why? Then why weren't they able to steer the car away from hitting this person?
And that's a good question. And a few people have already posted in chat, because this has been covered by multiple different news outlets as far as the actual situation, the actual specifics of what happened, and whether it was how dark it was, and if the person themselves was, walking out into the street when they shouldn't have, or anything like that. I don't know those details yet. They're not included in this article. I don't know if they're going to be released. There's the local police who is investigating this, and there's still information that we don't know yet. So,
right.
That's what's to be said there. The reason we bring this up here on the show, where we talk about technology, is of course that self-driving cars are pretty, it seems like important and unavoidable technology. It's going to happen at some point. And probably what's going to happen once self-driving technology becomes prevalent is it's going to have a net positive results on the amount of accidents and fatalities and injuries that occur.
So basically what you're saying is that we got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. In the form of a couple
This
random
article
deaths.
is from MIT Technology Review, so you guys can go
Which I agree with.
You guys can go and read it if you want.
It sucks, but it's how it is.
And you're right. It's one of those situations where you knew as soon as they started putting artificial intelligence controlled vehicles on the road at some point, based on the chaotic nature of our universe and the inability to predict everything and all outcomes, something is going to happen at some point.
Right.
Now, the article seems to be indicating that the reaction to this, because this happened in the past 24 to 48 hours, and it doesn't seem like there's a huge backlash all of a sudden with people saying, these cars should be taken off the road and self-driving technology isn't the way, and robots are going to kill us all or something like that. That doesn't seem to be the reaction. So, all that is to say, this happened. Maybe there will be more information coming out about it at some point in the future. But hopefully, as this technology progresses, we will not see any backlash to it that's significant enough to prevent the progression of technology that's, in the long run, going to help us have an easier way to get from point A to point B.
Right.
A cheaper way, most likely as well.
Yeah.
Probably more fuel efficient, and almost definitely safer.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we will.
Compare this incident to how many people were killed by cars in the past 24 hours, and it's probably a pretty stark difference there. Exactly. Of course, there's other variables, how many self-driving cars on the road and whatnot. But yes, this is something to keep track of, because you're probably going to have people who have the reaction to this that is more negative. And yeah, I mean, that's not an easy question. That's not an easy answer to someone who's developing artificial intelligence algorithms for self-driving vehicles.
Right. Yeah, you're technically responsible.
The car is driving along, and there's like a baby and a baby carriage and an elderly woman, or there's like an old person and a baby, and it's like the car's got to decide
who it's gonna hit.
It's like you're driving at 60 miles per hour. You have this much time to react.
I would hope the algorithm chooses the old person.
What does the artificial intelligence decide?
I hit them both because it's equal.
The old person, the old person, because they're old and they've already lived their life.
But how does it? I mean,
that is a serious, deep ethical question that we should not be discussing at this point in Awesome Hardware, because we've been drinking.
You're right.
So let's move on.
Unless that's how all answers should come to a point. Is just two drunk dudes just deciding everything.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. We're going to separate ourselves from that.
Please continue.
Qarnot.
Qarnot.
Qarnot. This is a French company, which is why they don't have a U after the Q, because they're French and they don't care.
Oh, oui, oui.
This French company, Qarnot, has created this product called the QC1. It's a cryptocurrency mining computer, which is also a space heater.
What?
Look at that. You thought crypto was all about, just wasting energy and stuff like that. But now you can buy this unit, which is not only pleasing, look at that.
It's a space. Pretty. Wait, what?
It's a heater.
While it mines cryptocurrency?
Yeah. So
okay.
This is an extension of their QRAD computing heater that was released in 2013. This unit can mine cryptocurrencies and utilize the generated heat for heating your home. So you might have a heater right now that uses gas or electricity to generate heat.
That's costing you money.
And then you get
and
heat,
not making
and you pay
money.
for that energy.
Right.
You can generate the heat and also be mining crypto at the same time. It makes perfect sense.
What GPUs are okay?
Yes. It has a passive cooling solution on the outside, as you can see by the kind of radiator design that you're seeing right there. This very simplistic diagram, that does not look like a power supply at all. I don't think that counts. Then this picture of a finger and all these lights on it, I'm not exactly sure what that does either, but it's got an app.
It's the future. It's the LEDs, it's lighting, it's future.
It's got an app attached to it, and this picture is probably the picture you want to look at. It's got a passive cooling solution, so basically a big old radiator on the outside.
My question...
So it's a noiseless design. It does not require any fans, and it has no mechanical hard drives inside.
But what happens if you're really cold, or no, if you're really hot already, but you also want to make extra money?
You have to stop mining.
But you really need the money.
Or leave your house.
You could really use the money, but it's already like 90 degrees in your house.
It seems like
the only way to make extra money is to turn the heater on.
It's going to be less effective in the winter, in the summer, I guess.
Apparently.
Is what it comes down to.
So this is really going to thrive in Antarctica.
Yeah, it makes more sense in
colder climates.
Countries that have colder climates. Yes, exactly, Kyle.
Okay. All right.
That's true.
I can get behind that.
The system actually includes a pair or two RX 580 graphics cards. They're Sapphire Nitro Plus GPUs. The entire unit has a hash rate of around 60 megahash per second, which is, decent. And it's got a couple different modes it can operate in. The normal mode creates 450 watts of heat, and you can also turn on a booster mode that jacks that up by 200 watts for a total of 650 watts of heat output. It's capable of heating a 20 square meter room. It is plug and play. It says it takes only 10 minutes to set up. You plug it in, you load up the app on your smartphone, and you plug in your crypto wallet, and then it starts mining. It mines Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, and it costs only 2,900 euros. That's right. Just 2,900 euros.
What? That's like over 3,000 US, right?
Around 3,575 US
Holy
dollars.
Shit.
Plus $300 for shipping, bringing your total to just shy of $4,000.
Why not just build a $1,500 mining rig and run it 24/7, and then you'd have a heater?
But look how elegant. Look the elegance here. I mean, come on.
You're gonna pay triple the price
Look
just
at this
for
design.
elegance?
Look at this design.
Is elegance worth triple price?
Look at that finger. Just fingering the
LEDs.
LEDs.
Does it come with the finger?
It's got this wood finish.
Do I get that finger?
And look at the
Look at the phone.
app, right?
That's the kind of phone.
The app's like,
that it
hey,
comes with.
on January 12th, you were making this much money.
Look at how rich you are now.
On January 30th, you made this much money.
Look at how fucking rich.
And today, you made this much money. And it's like, hey,
shit crashed, and
here's all your money.
you'll cry and regret making this
rich
purchase.
crypto miner.
No, man.
If you order before March 20th,
This is nuts.
They will deliver it before June 20th. So I guess if you're
That's a lot of money,
speculating
$4,000.
on investing in hardware for mining crypto, you get like a good month plus of uncertainty while they're considering shipping this to you, where the price of Bitcoin or other key cryptocurrencies may fluctuate in ways you could not possibly have imagined before.
Oh, great.
All stuff to look forward to.
That's so
okay,
silly.
let's move on.
All right.
PUBG.
I'm going to grab a beer.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. There's two right there.
I'm done.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has now released a mobile version. Yes, you can play PlayerUnknown's Battleground on your mobile.
Oh, God.
Now, if you're looking at this intro here and you're like, what are these strange characters? That is Chinese. This is actually being launched by Tencent. So, this is a Chinese mobile version of PUBG. It is called Exhilarating Battlefield.
What? Exhilarating Battlefield?
It's called Exhilarating Battlefield.
Oh my god, that is so
is
Chinese. That is the most Chinese they could ever do.
Exhilarating.
Exhilarating Battlefield.
Exhilarating.
Oh, I love
battlefield.
China so much. I need that on a shirt. Remember when
so
you were
good.
in were you in Taiwan or China looking for
Taiwan and China. Every time we
English
go, we
shirts?
try to find bad English shirts, and they're usually pretty common. But finding one that's actually like printed decently and everything is very challenging. I found one that I would have worn all the time, but when I washed it, it shrank like half the size, and it was super tight on me, so I never could. Anyway, point being, exhilarating battlefield is super exciting, and everyone should play it. This is the mobile version of PUBG, which exists specifically because Tencent, which is the big company in China, they operate WeChat, among other things. They bought up the rights to publish PUBG for mobile phones late last year. Sorry about the dogs barking right now.
Your wife
Everyone
must be
ignore
home.
it. Ignore the dogs. Dogs don't count. Hold.
Doggy emojis in chat. Doggy emojis in chat.
Kyle, go close the door real quick.
Oh yeah.
Kyle's gonna close the door. I don't want to hear him again. All right, all the way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, perfect. Much better. So Tencent actually bought the rights to publish PUBG on mobile phones late last year, and this is the mobile version that they have launched. It should be available outside of China at some point in the future, but as of today, it's only available for Android in Canada as a test launch.
Okay.
And I imagine if you're in China,
Android.
then maybe you have access to it as well.
Android.
It is apparently mostly the same as the Xbox version of PUBG in terms of content. Just the original single map is available, but it does have some of the updates that PUBG has come up with over the past few months, such as the ability to vault.
Blood is green.
Blood is green.
What?
That's a Chinese thing.
What? No.
Yeah. No,
That's not a Chinese thing.
Yes, that's a Chinese thing. Not because Chinese people's blood is green, but because showing blood in China, there's censorship against it. You can't show blood.
What?
Similar things with I was reading up a little bit about this, like the World of Warcraft version that went into China, and like some of the undead characters and showing like bones and stuff like that.
Wow.
There's certain restrictions on what you can show.
That's so interesting.
What you can and can't show in China. They have established
Someone said it's
for-
blue in Korean mode.
So yeah, so the blood is green. It's still blood. It's just green, not red. But
So
there
much
you go.
less violent.
The
color makes it
the mini map, for example, will show icons that indicate the auditory clues around you, such as footsteps and gunfire, and that's to help improve the experience for people who are on mobile who might not have headphones plugged in or might not be able to turn the volume up. And there are bots, so that's a possibility as well. Is bots being included?
That's interesting. This is interesting because China was originally considering banning the game for being anti-communist, or it didn't align with their political values to some degree. I remember China making a big stink about this game in particular. I
don't want to make any assumptions about what the Chinese government is doing, but I
we've
will
talked
say
about it
that when
before.
something has a certain level of popularity, and when there's something that's exciting enough that people even outside of the area where it's gained popularity, if you have people in China who want to play PUBG, then there's probably enough push that people are interested that they're going to try to introduce it there in some way, shape, or form. And Tencent is huge in China. I mean, they're one of the biggest companies in China, so them purchasing it, obviously they're going to have the clout to launch it in such a way that is playable and gets around the censors and whatever else they might have done to
Green blood, baby, green blood.
Yep, exactly.
St. Patty's blood.
All right, next up, we've talked about net neutrality here on the live show from time to time because we consider it to be a pretty important thing that people should be somewhat concerned about if you use the internet and you want to have the ability to access the internet at a reasonable price. If you want to access the internet and be able to connect and access anything on the internet without having anything blocked, net neutrality should be important to you. Net neutrality was basically shot down late last year in 2017 by the current FCC, and since then there have been a slew of lawsuits that have been brought against the FCC seeking to overturn the net neutrality decision that was made. Those lawsuits were brought by more than 36 entities, including Democratic attorneys general from 22 different states, consumer advocacy groups, and tech companies such as Mozilla, Vimeo, and Etsy. Now, since all of these lawsuits have been brought, basically they have done a consolidation. 12 different lawsuits against the FCC seeking to overturn the net neutrality repeal have been consolidated into one case at the Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in the United States.
Wow.
Now, on one side of this, we have the internet service providers, and the internet service providers are represented by the NCTA, the CTIA, and US Telecom. NCTA is the Internet and Television Association, CTIA is the Wireless Association, and US Telecom is the Broadband Association. If you guys want to check out the ARS Technica article that's linked in the video's description, all of the articles, by the way, I'm talking about today are linked in this video's description. You can read up a little bit more about this, in particular about what which companies each of these represent. So, for example, the NCTA represents Comcast, Charter, Cox, and Altus. CTIA represents AT&T, Verizon Wireless, T-Mobile, and Sprint. US Telecom represents AT&T and Verizon, wireless telcos with copper and fiber networks, and all three groups also represent a range of smaller internet service providers. Mm-hmm. So, we are going to want to keep an eye on this because this is the backlash to the decision by the FCC to roll back net neutrality protections for the internet in the United States. And we're hoping that through this, through the lawsuits that are brought forth or whatever, that there might be some protection that's put into place for net neutrality in the U.S. Personally, I think there's two ways that it could go. Either the internet is made more of a public utility, in which case I might still have just a single point of contact or access for my network connection, but it's regulated in such a way that it is a reasonable connection speed and a reasonable price. Or we go the free market route and we let the free market decide how the connections should work, in which case I should have choice. So if I have 3 different internet service providers to choose from, then there's some competition going on there.
Right.
And ideally, I should be able to choose from one that provides me a reasonable combination of price for the service I get, as well as connection speed.
And those ISPs would have to compete with each other to create the best possible service for the consumer.
Yeah. I'm okay with either of those. Yeah. But what I don't want is what the ISPs want right now, which is the ISPs get to do whatever they want and operate in such a way that they're treated as a free open market. But due to the restrictions of the ability to deliver internet service connection and connectivity and roll out, say, for example, fiber connections, I only have one choice of internet service provider to access.
Right.
We need some solution to this that's in between, and the FCC, in the United States at least, has not been making decisions that are favorable to the consumer.
Right.
So we're going to keep on top of this. And hopefully, because there's as many entities and individuals that are pushing for this, then hopefully we'll eventually come to a positive result for the majority of us consumers at home. This could take about a year to decide, according to the article. That's if it lasts as long as the previous case that upheld the net neutrality rules in 2016. So in 2015... was when internet service providers were classified as Title II common carriers. Mm-hmm. And of course, the internet service providers put up a big stink about that and tried to challenge it in court and everything like that. Yep. In 2016, it was upheld. So now the FCC, after all they went through that, the FCC in 2017 was like, actually, all that stuff we've decided was probably crappy, and let's just roll it back and change net neutrality. Now we're hoping that the courts will uphold the same decision they made in 2016 and overturn what the FCC is trying to do right now.
Constant back and forth. Yeah.
Okay, enough with the politics or slightly politically associated stuff. On Kyle's half of the show, we talked about the GPP, the GeForce Partner Program. And we showed a few screenshots that have been taken from different retailers and whatnot on the internet, and how they maybe potentially are changing the way that they market, advertise, and label their graphics cards, such to the extent that perhaps GeForce, the NVIDIA GeForce series of graphics cards, might be the ones that maintain association with the gaming sub-brands that many major graphics cards add-in board manufacturers have created, such as ASUS ROG, Republic of Gamers, Gigabyte Aorus, which they use for their gaming-oriented products, MSI Gaming. What is MSI called?
Gaming.
Gaming.
Just gaming.
MSI Gaming stuff.
MSI Gaming.
So,
very creative game. MSI.
If we continue with the assumption that was made on Kyle's half of the show that the companies, the third-party add-in board, add-in card manufacturers are going along with this, then obviously we need to help out with a rebranding effort going along with the different companies who have been forced to abandon associating AMD Radeon graphics cards with some of their sub-brands. In particular here, we're going to talk about ASUS ROG, simply because they're probably one of the more well-known ones. So the sword fight question we're going to argue about, right? Oh, did I even introduce this as sword fight? I didn't.
Wait.
Sword fight! It's time for sword fight! What are you doing?
I think most people inferred that.
What are you doing?
I'm just bringing back up your stream because somehow I don't know, it just got, the stream got corrupted, so I had to reopen it, yeah. But I was going to paste the link into chat.
I can post this into Twitch chat. There we go.
I'm doing it into YouTube.
That's on Twitch chat.
Under my name.
That won't work, though.
Oh, you're right.
According to Cell, oh yeah, remove any web addresses.
Jesus, it didn't used to be like this like a month ago.
It's also like maybe I might need to assign you as a moderator on my channel, which you might not have.
Maybe I'm just logged into the wrong account. Anyway.
Point being, we're going to help ASUS decide if the ASUS Republic of Gamers, the ROG brand, can only be used for NVIDIA GPUs now. What should their AMD brand be called? And I have quite a few solutions here.
Okay.
For the new ASUS AMD associated brand. Going along with their theme of Republic of Gamers, we have the Commonwealth of Competitors, the COC. We have the Federation of Fanatics. I have the Anarcho-Syndicalist Commune of Aspirants.
Yes,
I thought that was pretty good.
It's definitely that one.
The District of Disputants. I don't know, does that work for you?
The DOD.
Or the Special Economic Zone of Rivals. And these all, of course, have associated shorthand to go along with them because, of course, ROG has become so synonymous. So what do you think here? Obviously, we're gonna feed this over to ASUS, and obviously they're gonna implement this.
Choose one of these options.
They have no other choice but to go along with this. But Kyle, do you have any of these? What do you?
I'm trying to find your stream because I want to bring up chat so I could like paste shit. Why isn't it?
Why don't you just go to the show doc where it's like?
Because I thought this would be quicker and it's not. Because I don't know how to type.
There you go. There it is.
Son of a bitch.
There it is.
But then, like, I don't know, like your chat window just became white. It just turned white. The whole chat window just went like frosty.
That's because you got to do gaming.youtube.com.
What? So regular YouTube just is broken? Is that?
No, it's just white.
I don't mean white. Like, I mean it was grayed out. Like everything was grayed out. Like it almost like it was like it crashed. Like the window crashed. It was weird.
Well, I don't know why that's like that.
Okay, let me just answer the fucking question here. Federations of Fanatics, Commonwealth of Competitors, Syndicalist. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
It's a Monty Python reference.
Syndicalist Commune of Aspirants.
I've told you we're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week.
I think special economic zone of rival speaks to me
But
the
each
most.
decision of that officer has to be ratified as a special bi-weekly meeting in the case of purely internal affairs.
Okay, regardless of your jibber jabber and your specifications here, I think that special economic zone of rivals. I just like the acronym CESOR. I love the CESOR Alliance. I think that just
that's also my China shout out, right? Because China is all about the special economic zones. I thought that,
of course,
right?
Yes,
so that would make sense.
Sure,
make perfect sense. All right, so you're choosing the special economic zone of rivals.
CESOR.
I'm gonna go with the Commonwealth competitors. I just feel I like the alliteration there.
Cock.
I feel like cock. Cock is a good
cock in the hand
choice there.
All right.
Sure, I can't
cock.
vote here, but
Everyone
just
needs
look
the
at
cock.
results. All right. Wait, what happened? Should you delete? Oh, you deleted the entire link and everything.
What?
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm Control-Zing everything now. What?
No, don't.
Okay, it's
stop.
good. It's good.
It's still there.
It's good.
All right, let's see what the results are. Let's see people. Commonwealth competitors.
Hey, I was second though. I mean, apart from cock.
ASUS cock.
I mean, I couldn't beat cock.
Commonwealth and competitors.
It's obvious
you
I
did
could
have
never
a good
beat
choice
cock.
there for the.
But I did choose the second
special
best
economic
option.
zone.
Right.
There it is.
I handed you the victory.
Well, hey, if any of the ASUS marketing people are watching,
cock it is.
You are welcome. You are very welcome. All right.
Cock it up.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Let's talk about something. All right. We're not gonna dive into this rabbit hole. All right. We're just gonna show you that the rabbit hole exists.
Okay.
Because honestly, I haven't looked at the news feed in the last 3-4 hours, and I don't even know what's going on right now. So, all that is to say that there is some news in the past 24-48 hours that is tech related.
Okay.
But that is also sort of a quagmire of potential political discussion that we usually don't dive into here on the live show.
Okay.
Simply because
ready for it.
I want to recognize a lot of people might be watching this show specifically to avoid topics that might be associated with the current political situation. But
we're talking about it anyway.
All that is to say, there's a lot of stuff going on with Facebook right now. And The Verge specifically posted an article today about how to delete Facebook for people who may or may not be not so happy with recent news about Facebook, about how Facebook gathers data on the people who use Facebook, and specifically how Facebook maybe makes that data available to third parties and how third parties might take that data and possibly use it for
shady purposes.
Yeah, you want to say like to sell stuff to people, like marketing purposes, but
even beyond that,
maybe used for stuff even shadier than that. So again, don't want to dive into that necessarily, but I did want to ask people in the audience watching today: is it time to delete Facebook? As the article on The Verge,
it has always been a time to delete Facebook.
Specifically,
there is no reason. There is very little reason to have a Facebook account these days.
Because you can download your information.
Because you can just go to Reddit. Because what Facebook has become over the last 5-6 years is just a watered down version of Reddit, where no one actually is posting about their own lives anymore on Facebook. You can't just log on to Facebook and know what your distant friends are up to. No, it's just all recycled material and upvotes and shares of random articles that you probably don't care about that are just being plastered onto your feed. And so, I thought that was cool about Facebook back in the day, where it's like, oh, what's like so-and-so up to? Like, we're not like super close best buds or whatever, but thanks to social media, I can still kind of know what he's up to and like maybe connect with him sometime. And like, there's none of that anymore. It's just, news articles and viral media. It's really just viral media with, videos that are just like little packaged things that are sent out and get millions of views and have, monetary benefits for the uploader and stuff. But Facebook isn't what it was. It's not a social media network as much as it was back in the day. So apart from whatever political things are going on, I don't like before all this shit happened, I felt like Facebook was kind of useless to begin with. So I'm gonna go with no. You don't need Facebook in any regard.
That's reasonable. And so, like, this news recently sort of has tied in with the line of thinking that I've gone along with a lot of stuff. And I feel like it's important to separate the general from the specific, right? And I think there are general ideas you can have about something, and then there's specifics that you can deal with on a case-by-case basis, so to speak. Generally speaking, when something becomes really good and really popular, it eventually gets to a point. Take, for example, like an individual business or something there's lots of websites, social media platforms that have become very popular. At a certain point, whoever's in charge of that, whoever's kind of the brainchild behind the popularity, behind whatever, substance beneath the platform that causes people to feel like it's a compelling experience to engage with. At some point, that person steps back, steps aside. They sell the company. That company becomes a commodity. And then suddenly it dives into this area of like, oh, now we have a board of directors and we have a stock, it's a public company now, and we have stock that's bought and sold, and we have stockholders, and our obligation is to the people who own the stock to make the stock value go up and up and up. And at that point, it just invariably becomes shitty. Like, it goes downhill. Things become crappy. Now, Facebook is actually slightly more of a unique situation because Zuckerberg has actually maintained such a level of control over it. So maybe this isn't even actually the best example of what I'm talking about right now, but I'm kind of tired of things getting popular to the point where everyone uses them and then becoming shitty. Like, right? Yeah. There's a bunch of people that use this, and now we've sold it. Like, the people in charge of it have sold it, and now it's owned by a corporation, and now it's just about making as much money out of that thing as you possibly can, and then it just becomes shitty. And in a situation,
it's true.
And in a situation where something's ubiquitous or entrenched, then you have a situation where the people in charge of that start taking advantage of the people who are using the platform. Right. And again, this is very general, the way I'm talking about this, but it's frustrating because anytime it sucks that anytime you get really excited about something or enthusiastic about something, like I don't know, Star Wars. Let's take Star Wars as an example. Disney has bought Star Wars and they are milking the crap out of it.
Oh, rightfully
so much merchandising and everything, and you want to look at the movies and be like, well, as long as they're staying true to the fundamental values of the movies, or as long as they have some larger message that they're displaying or something like that, then that makes it all okay. Bullshit. And I don't know, dude. Like, I guess it depends whether or not you like The Last Jedi. All this is to say, I hate when things become corporatized. And suddenly it goes from being something cool that everyone was into and enjoyed
to just being about money.
Really? How much money can we milk out of the people who are using this platform?
Right.
And in my opinion, that's kind of where Facebook has come at this point, has gotten to at this point.
I mean, they have to have been there.
And even beyond
for a while now.
Even beyond milking money out of people,
for how big they are.
It's like manipulating people, and manipulating their opinions and stuff beyond that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go too much beyond that because, again,
that's really true.
There's a very I don't want to go beyond that, but here we go. Let's at least see what people think about this particular thing. We have...
It's really close.
That's pretty close.
Pretty close.
Not a lot of votes, but we still have 40% saying yes, time to delete. We have no, 36%, but we do have 24% saying they already deleted. I did try to make that a somewhat viable third option.
Right.
So
people just aren't on Facebook.
There does seem to be more than half people, I would presume from this result, at least from our viewers who are
Right.
kind of over Facebook at this point. And I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, not at all.
All right. Really quickly, I was going to do a last segment, which was just how much do video cards cost right now?
Oh, jeez.
We've done this before. This is just the Newegg website. I am literally just going directly to components, video cards and video devices, desktop graphics cards, and we're gonna see how much they cost right now. What do we want? What are what's Vegas? What are Vegas costing?
Them Vegas, $800.
Shipped from and sold by Newegg. Always use this radio
For
button.
Vega 56? That's like a GTX 1070 for $800.
Yeah.
Wow. That's more than double the price of what it should be.
So all right. Well, these are in stock.
That's just depressing. Why would you end on this note?
200.
This is
No, you're right.
like
It's
everyone's
terrible.
gonna just leave the show feeling
I'm
shitty.
trying to reality
Everyone's
check.
gonna leave shitty inside.
Trying to reality check. All right.
God, I've even like
So
tried
a
to
Vega
distance myself from this
56
reality.
is only $350 to $400 more than what it should cost. Roughly double. Roughly
so
double.
fucked up, dude.
All right, let's go to PC Part Picker.
Oh, it hurts. It actually hurts.
I know.
It so feels bad, man.
Let's see what PC Part Picker has to say. What are we looking at? What do you want to look at?
I don't wanna
1080s?
look at anything.
1070s? Let's look at 1070s.
I can't. Any of it's all bad.
What's a
As soon as
1070
you get
cost
past
on
1050 Ti?
Hey!
bad.
Come on. Look at that.
Okay.
$489.
Okay, almost $150.
Is it in
more
stock?
than its MSRP?
It is out of stock.
For
not in
like
stock.
a blower style design that's gonna get
not in-
81C?
It's not in stock.
Oh my god!
But
terrible, dude.
Look, if it's not in stock at Amazon for $490, you can buy it from Outlet PC for $900.
Good lord, this is like a waking nightmare that we cannot awake from.
All right, can we get the MSI? Can we get the MSI for $535 from Amazon?
1070.
This is in stock.
So wait,
Look at that.
I thought it was $71. That's just
Look
for
at
the
that.
protection.
A 1070 for $530.
Oh my god! And it's like the mini version.
I know.
ITX Aero ITX
Doesn't
model.
matter.
I mean, it kind of
That's
matters.
super reasonable.
It kind of matters
I wanna
because
buy-
you have half a cooler on the same GPU as any other 1070.
Okay.
Jesus
Let's look at 1080 Ti's. You got to go high end. What are your options for the high end 1080
You are a
Ti's?
twisted son of a bitch, Paul.
I know.
Showing this all to us.
915. All right, 915 for the really baseline MSI 1080 Ti Armor. 915 at Newegg. It's in stock. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my god, $900.
Wow. For a 1080 Ti.
Which
That's only
should be
about
close to
$250, $260 more than it should be. All right, well.
still painful. That's a whole.
But it's important.
GPU.
It's important to reality check these things because as reviewers, you don't always have to go and look at what's available right now.
thankfully, right? Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm just
bad
letting you
situation.
guys know right now. Any PC build that I do for the next few months is going to be featuring a GPU that I already have on hand. You won't see any new GPU models or whatever that have come out in the last few months on my channel because I'm not spending $700 on a GTX 1070 or whatever. Nor is any add-in board partner, mind you, going to send me a card for that price when they can sell it for that price just to be featured on the channel. So you're stuck with what I have currently.
I got an email.
Full disclaimer.
I got an email from a company. I can't even remember. X-Ray Servers. I got an email from this company called X-Ray Servers, basically saying, "Hey, we have all these graphics cards. Do you want to advertise them for us?" And they sent me a list of graphics cards and prices that were all $200 to $400 overpriced based on MSRP. And they were kind of like, "Hey, and do you want, if you want, we can send you graphics cards or whatever." And I was like, what kind of shitty person would I have to be to go and like advertise
Yeah.
these horrendously overpriced graphics cards from this company I've never heard of called X-Ray Servers, when I know that a significant impact on the graphics card pricing going on right now is companies that are going directly to distributors to buy in bulk. That's why there's no graphics cards available. It's not because people are going and buying 5 or 10 graphics cards at Fry's or Newegg or something like that. It's because Ingram Micro and other massive distributors like there are selling lots of 1,000+ graphics cards to people who are building crypto mining farms.
Right. It's a whole new branch of business.
That's where it's coming from.
That is
and
perpetuating the problem.
I'm like, look,
it's fucking nuts.
I'm still on at the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna hate on anyone for trying to make money. And if there's a viable way to make money, I don't blame people for going down that road.
Right. Whatever.
But I'm not going to promote it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to be like, hey, look at this awesome deal on this GTX 1070 for only $700 when it was $900 last week. I'm not going to pretend like that's a deal.
Right.
Like that's absurd or whatever.
They're barking up the wrong tree, clearly.
Yeah. So yeah, for now, I'm promoting AMD APUs.
Yeah, I mean...
And if I make a build that's going to include a graphics card, it's going to be like, hey, here's this build. It's probably way overpriced for most practical people, but people are still, somewhat interested in to see what's available and everything. So there we go. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
All right.
I'm right there with you, man.
Cool. I'm glad you agree.
Right
I hope you guys appreciate that to some degree. And I sympathize to anyone who doesn't have something to work with right now.
Yeah, no shit.
But for anyone who does have something functional right now, like don't spend absurd amounts of money on overpriced stuff right now.
Don't let the system beat you.
That's not the way to do it.
Hold up, bruh.
All right. We're gonna end the show as we always do with some shout outs to those who have purchased stuff from our stores.
Aha.
It looks like I have 5 or 6 orders to give some Johnson shout-outs to here. Guido Salucci. From Massachusetts. Thank you, Guido, for the... Oh, he got the Star Wars shirt. So that's an awesome hardware shirt. So that's actually for both of us.
Nice.
Thank you, Guido.
I got one from James from Nashville. Picking up a gaming mouse pad. Thank you very much. And that's my only order. Oh, no, I have one more.
One more. Rich from Maryland. Thank you so much, Rich. Got the keycap and the stainless steel bottle opener.
Jared Johnson to Jared, picking up an awesome hardware Star Wars Heather Navy t-shirt.
Johnson to you, Jared. Zach from California. Thank you very much, Zach. You got the 15-ounce mug. 0 insertion force one. Hold on, I've got that right here. Full color mug.
That is a nice mug. That design, that graphic really works well in a mug, I will say.
It's also like a larger size mug. Like with normal size mugs, you feel like, this mug is not really giving me the amount of liquid that I actually wanted. Big mug, you're like, oh yeah. That's a shit right there.
I got a big mug, bro.
Okay. James. Oh, this is Disturbed Medic.
Hey, Disturbed!
What's up, James?
What up, Disturbed?
Thank you for your order, sir.
Disturbed in the house.
He got the Star Wars.
Nice.
Star Wars shirt.
That's a good one.
And Heather Navy.
That's a really good one.
Thank you, James. You're gonna enjoy that shirt.
It's one of my favorites on the store.
You're gonna wear it forever. And
Every
that is. Oh wait, we have donation comments. Let's quickly run down those. Did you do donation comments in your half?
I did.
You did? Oh yeah, I remember. Okay.
Right. I don't know where we
where did we cut off? I don't remember. I remember the Pup Shepherd.
Maybe he deleted all of them, so maybe we're at Pup Shepherd. Well, I think
it's
Pup Shepherd did a new one. All right. So $10 from Pup Shepherd. Did you know I have a Tech CH or Tech channel? It's Simple Silicon. Learn about how to build a NAS, product reviews, and that show on the weekend a few months out of the year. I hope to see you there. Okay, guys, go follow Pup Shepherd on YouTube if you're interested in
Everyone
tech.
go Simple Silicon. Follow Pup Shepherd.
No pup humans.
Might be not safe for work.
Papa Q.
50
Danish
krona? I don't know what that is.
DKK.
DKK. Some foreign currency that we very much appreciate, even though we might not fully understand. The currencies of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Iceland are all called krona.
That's Danish krona.
So that's Danish krona. Oh my god, that's all we need to know. And you just summed it all up in one beautiful donation. Thank you so much,
awesome.
Papa Q. Yeah, wow. The more you know. Mikey Z, $5. Can I cut a Molex connector off of a fan if I have it plugged into a pin? It has both connector and the Molex is ugly. Thank you. You guys rock.
Can I cut a Molex connector off of a fan?
If you have it plugged into a
I think I know what you're talking about, Mike.
What do you mean?
You're probably talking about one of the fans that has two connectors on it. It's got one plug that goes down to a little 3-pin that you can plug into a motherboard.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's got a daisy chain connector that's a Molex plug that hangs off of it.
It's just giving you options.
Yes.
And you can cut off the option you don't need.
You can snip that off.
Right.
Just make sure that you snip it down at the base so that you don't have any loose wires hanging that could get crossed with each other.
Right.
And yeah, you can remove that.
Yes.
And no big deal.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Dusty H 1991, $10, no comment. Thank you,
Dusty.
You're the best man.
Thank you very much.
Tech Junkyard, $4.99. I have an i7 4820K with a GTX 980. Do you think I still have have 3 more years to play main title games at 144 hertz, 1080p, or update? Or should I update?
I think you have a pretty solid configuration right there.
Yeah.
Especially given pricing right now.
Right,
An
exactly.
upgrade is
Where are you gonna
going to be pretty expensive
harsh.
for you. So I actually think you have a pretty solid situation.
Oh yeah.
Especially at 1080. You might not be able to hit 144 FPS on all the games you're playing. But
You'll get...
I mean, as long as you're above 60, it's usually a pretty solid experience.
Right.
And I think you're good where you're at.
Yep,
Tech
I agree.
Junkyard.
Andrew Schweier, 5 Canadians.
Thank you,
Camera
Andrew.
down. Now what about lenses? Also, would GoPros be good for a webcam for 4-player co-op streams?
Would GoPros be good for a webcam? I don't know if GoPros do a clean HDMI out. I have not had that experience directly. If they do, then yes. If they don't, then no.
The Logitech, C920 is the one that we stand behind?
Yeah, we use the Logitech C920 pretty regular.
Those are really nice.
1080 resolution. It's not going to be the sharpest image, but if you're just looking to capture the person playing the game, so you can take their mug and put it down in the
and
corner of
super
the screen.
small, so it doesn't need to be super high anyway.
That's totally fine.
It's like $60-$70.
Yeah, and they're very cost effective, so that's the way I would go there. Now that does use a little bit of your CPU power, whatever, to handle the webcam. So there are other solutions that are external that might be a better option if you're going for a higher end. But beyond that, I would say something like a Razer Ripsaw and an external camera with an HDMI out that's clean, but that's going to be a lot more expensive solution for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I concur. Dusty, once again, 1991, $5 first rig after watching your channels. It's a Ryzen 5 overclocked to 3.9 gigahertz. Cooler Master Cooler Pro, 120 AIO gigabyte, AB350M Corsair LED 3200, 16 gigabytes, GTX 1060, 6 gigabyte. Thoughts? You've got a Ryzen 5, GTX 1060, 6 gigabyte. I think you're good there. Cooler Master
very
Pro
solid.
120. Yeah, it looks solid, dude.
I like your setup. You have fast memory, which
Yes.
is a nice,
what I would say.
nice to pair up with the Ryzen 5 CPU. I'm not sure which Ryzen 5 CPU that you have, but I would like to point out that overclocking on Ryzen can be a hit or miss situation depending on the CPU you have and the max frequency that you're able to achieve. Because sometimes the the 1 or 2 core overclock that Ryzen CPUs can hit will get a higher frequency than what you can hit if you're doing an all-core overclock to 3.9 gigahertz.
Yeah.
So if you have a CPU that by default with the XFR frequency can go to 4 gigahertz, 4.1 gigahertz, then it might be worth it for you to just maintain stock frequencies, because you get a higher frequency on that 1 or 2 cores, which will be a better situation for you for gaming.
Right.
But that's not universal. It depends on on chip to chip and again which original CPU you have and whatnot. But 3.9 is definitely a solid overclock anyway. So you've got a nice configuration. Thank you, Dusty. Zhu Zhang with the $10 donation.
Su Chang!
Good evening, guys. Keep up the awesome show. By the way, from last week, Paul, you are usually right, but my name is pronounced just like Su. Su Zhang.
Su Chang!
And Kyle actually pronounced my last name correctly.
It's because I'm Asian.
Because Kyle's Asian.
You're my people.
He's got the Asian
You know
roots.
what I'm saying? Like, we're all the same fam. Like, I'll see you at Thanksgiving. Biatch.
Hey, I'm glad I was pretty close. I was pretty
Yeah.
close, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, you know, you try.
Thank you, Sue, very much for your donation.
Su Zhang!
Thanks for watching the show.
Honey, help!
Waffle Fur, $5 donation, said
Waffle Fur.
Steve at Gamers Nexus just crushed the LTT Cruise 3D Mark scores.
Well, congrats to
Yes,
Gamers
indeed.
Nexus. Fuck yeah.
They were trying to.
I knew that they were going to
They were trying
blow
to
their
beat
shit out of the water.
the single GPU scores on multiple things in 3D Mark, I
Right.
believe, and Time Spy
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to.
Some friendly competition there.
I'm sure they'll have some publications on that probably tomorrow,
Yep.
or videos if they're live streaming right now.
Excellent, eh?
And good job, proving that they're way better than Linus Tech Tips.
GG, bitches.
Jason H, $5 donation. How does pairing an i5-8400 with an MSI GTX Gaming X1060 6GB sound?
Sounds great.
P.S. Assuming so, will 520 watts be enough headroom?
Totally.
Looking for the best price to value.
Sounds great and totally would be my answer.
Yeah, 520 watts, you're totally good with anything up to a 1070. So 1066 gig should just be fine.
You solid,
And
bruh.
8400 is a solid little CPU. Can't overclock it, but it's still got 6 cores. And
Pairs nicely with a
It's
GTX
pretty nice.
1060 for
Yeah.
sure.
thank you, Jason. Finally, wait, no, we got a few more. Guido Salucci. You guys probably hear this all the time, but my favorite live stream. This is my favorite live stream, and you guys are my favorite YouTube channels. So keep up the great work. Thank you, Guido.
Thanks, Salucci.
That's awesome.
You my favorite commenter.
We love you.
You my
We-
favorite.
We love you so much.
Keep you in my heart.
I agree.
Fuck yeah.
Baja Truck Guy, $5 donation, says, keep up the awesome work. I have an R3 1200 overclocked to 4.1 gigahertz. Should I upgrade when Zen Plus drops? Yes, it's in a gaming rig. That's a tough call to make right now. Since you're overclocked to 4.1 gigahertz, that's a pretty solid overclock on an R3
That's
1200.
really good on a 1200.
So yeah, keep an eye on the Zen Plus when it launches. You've only got about a month left, and what frequencies we're hitting.
Right.
We're already expecting, based on the early leaks and stuff, that the top end CPUs will be running at about 4.35 gigahertz on the top end. So that's not too much faster than a 4.1 gigahertz on your R3 1200, and we're not expecting like a huge instructions per clock difference either.
True.
So you might just be fine with your R3 1200.
Yeah, I think it's going to boil down to like core utilization. If there are any games coming out later in 2018 that are going to utilize more than 4 cores and 4 threads, which is what you're limited at with the 1200, then maybe consider upgrading to something, because I mean that is one of the benefits that I always talk about the AM4 platform, is that there's an upgrade path. If you wanted to upgrade your CPU later down the line because you've realized some game that you really want to play this year is going to be able to utilize those cores and is optimized to take advantage of multi-threaded workloads, then fucking do it, man. Apart from that, if you're seeing solid performance as is, then just stick with what you got and wear it proudly. But yeah, I think you're in good shape either way.
Thank you, sir. Waffle Fur with $5 donation says, will you be reviewing the Vive Pro? It's releasing on April 5th. I do not have current plans to review the Vive Pro, mainly because I just paid taxes.
Fuck, say no more.
I just paid taxes.
Say no more.
And I'm about to pay for Tesla Powerwall and solar installation.
Dude, I can't wait for that video. That's
So
gonna be sick.
I'm making videos on that, but
Sick.
my
So my pros pretty bottom of the barrel.
working capital with like which to be like, oh yeah, I'll buy that is a little on the low side right now. So I have not pre-ordered the Vive Pro,
Nor
but
have I.
I can't. I mean, I might get it in the future. I have a Vive, so it makes it a more easy drop-in
Right.
solution if you've already got the light boxes and everything. but I have not pre-ordered one yet. It's also a thing where like I would have wanted to be one of the first pre-orders, so I get it,
right.
like be one of the first people to have it shipped and everything, and I was definitely not that.
No, it doesn't even matter because everyone's gonna have it on launch and we won't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shane Ellington donated $24.99.
Quick bio break. I'll be right back.
Okay, no comment. So thank you, Shane. Scott Dilbeck, 666. Have a good night, fellas. Cheers. Cheers to you too, Scott. Thank you for your donation, as always. Biking with Panda with $5 Canadian says, I run triple back the blog and have been doing some benchmarking with NUMA pinning and GPU pass-through VMs. Have you any experience with this? The dogs are barking. Biking with Panda, I have not. I have zero experience with that. So if you're talking about GPU pass-through VMs, I would say hit up Level 1 Techs because I believe Wendell has done some work with that. Of course, that depends on what operating system you're working with. Of course, he does a lot of work with Linux. Biking with Panda with another $5 Canadian donation. Even while pinning the VM to a single NUMA node QEMU, I still see oscillating latency in between benchmark runs, though Topo EXT patches for SMT. Biking with Panda again, I am not in a capacity I can't help you. I have not. I can't offer you anything with your donation. But thank you for your donation, I guess is what I should boil down to there. Teddy Tech, $5 donation says, do you gentlemen accept beer or booze donations? If so, what is your favorite beer and or alcohol of choice? Teddy Tiger, we're pretty open when it comes to what we drink. Pliny the Elder, obviously, is usually a great choice. But if you're interested, you can send us stuff to our P.O. boxes. We've had that done before. Mine, I don't know what Kyle's is. He's not here. But mine is P.O. Box 4325, Diamond Bar, California, 91765. Paul's Hardware. So you should send that too. Thank you, Teddy. I'm the Doctor, $9.99 says, Kyle, can we get Ryle the entire show sometime? I don't know what Ryle is. I'll ask him that when he comes back. Finally, Corey Harden with a $5 donation says, just upgraded to a Ryzen 7 1700 from an X 4300. The difference is ridiculous. Love your show and your channels. Corey, that's awesome. That is like, when it comes to doing something and suddenly making things way better than they were before, like that kind of upgrade is what I like to see, and I'm ecstatic for you. I share in your enthusiasm for what kind of an improvement jumping from an FX 4300 to a Ryzen 7 1700 has made. Kyle, thank you for being back.
I'm back.
Can we get the Ryle the entire show sometime? Can we get Ryle the entire show sometime?
Oh.
From I'm the Doctor.
He's referring to my latest float plane video where I pose as Kyle's identical twin brother.
Ryle.
Not Ryle though. Oh. It's actually Lyle.
Oh, Lyle.
Which happens to be the American tourist. So the pronunciation when he says Ryle, he can't pronounce his L's quite on point. His name's actually Lyle.
That makes sense.
But to the average American ear, it sounds like Ryle. But no, you will not get to see him in the entire show sometime because that would be too annoying. You'll just have to wait for the video to launch on YouTube.
No plans for that.
No plans.
All right, that is all for my half of the show. We have gone much longer than we usually do. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's show, of course, hit the thumbs up button before you exit. And again, links to the stories and whatnot that we talked about are down in the video's description. And if you missed Kyle's half of the show, link to that is down there too. If there's a kind soul who would like to put together timestamps for us, please post those in the video comment section. And when I find those, I will hit the thumbs up button on them, and I'll pin them.
Pin it.
I'll pin it too.
I'll pin your shit.
It'll be super awesome.
Finally,
a Twitch raid. If you're watching us live and you'd like to do a Twitch raid and go over to some person on Twitch who is very deserving and give them your love and tell them that we sent you, go over to twitch.tv/
Dis damn noob.
That's a really weird. Why is it pasted in the middle of my PC part picker link?
What?
How did that happen?
That's weird.
That's very strange.
DISDAMN
NEWB is
This
the
damn noob.
actual link. So everyone go over there.
I'm gonna host them.
Twitch raid to this damn noob. Tell him we sent you. And thanks for watching this week's episode of Awesome Hardware.
Thank you.
Y'all are awesome, and we'll see you again. Next week, we'll be back.
Bye, everyone.
More awesome
Awesome
live
hardware
show. Awesome.
content and
Yes.
shit. All right. Raid the shit out of this dude.
All right.
Bye bye.
What's going on here?